Hi, my name's Ben and I'm one of the directors at the Foundry. I've written the initial strength program for the Falklands Ultra marathon training. So guys, what I'm going to do today is you've got the programs in front of you hopefully, and you can see this video is to accompany and show you some of the bits that you may not understand within the program. So to begin with, I'll go through all of the mobility section, then all of the warm-up, and then I'll pick out the exercises that you may not have seen or you may not understand the way that I've written them, and hopefully that will give you a better understanding. Now you can find demonstrations of all of these exercises on YouTube, just check them out. If not, you can have a look on our Instagram at Foundry Fit, or you can check me out on your email via ben@foundryfit.com. Okay, so the mobility work. The first part of the program is to get your joints lubricated to enable you to access end range of movement. So we're going to start with a controlled articulated rotation. You'll see it written in the program as spinal car. So we're going to hold our hands in close to our chest here. We're going to twist so that our elbow sits above our ilium. We're going to tip and we're going to roll around. So we're looking for an axial rotation of our spine. We're gaining a stretch through our erector spinae, the muscles that run alongside our spinal column. But what we're doing here is we're mobilizing those facet joints around the lumbar portion of our spine. So I've shown you one in each direction. I think the rep range is a couple of 2 or 3 in each direction. Just have a look at the program and follow that. The next one is a hip car, so a controlled articulated rotation for our hip. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can do it on all fours, but today I'm going to show you from a standing position. So make sure you're holding on to something so you're nice and balanced. I want your right hand side to stay really stable, and it's just the ball and socket joint on your left side, that hip joint, that we're going to get to work. So you're going to drag your heel in front of your shin so that your hip comes into flexion and your knee is into flexion. We're then going to abduct at the hip as wide as we can go without changing our position on this side of our hip. Then we're going to internally rotate, taking that hip all the way through its full range of movement. Now what I want you to imagine is I want you to imagine there's a small animal or a child in front of you, and we're trying to step up, over and round them without touching. Okay, so that's one rep on that side. You'll obviously do the given rep range on both sides. The next one is a shoulder car, okay? So arms nice and straight like long pistons, 2 thumbs up like the Fonzie. We're going to lift our hands up, nice and straight lines. Biceps will brush past our ears. We'll get to a point where our arms block and they won't be able to go any further. When that happens, I want you to inwardly rotate your thumb. So internally rotate at the humeral head, the top of our shoulders, allowing us to bring our arms right back into that top position. I'm just going to come onto my knees so you can see that position because you lost my hands there. So arms up nice and straight. When they block, internally rotate, bringing it round. Good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to externally rotate at the humeral head and we'll bring them up and over like a butterfly stroke in swimming. Okay, the last one in the mobility series, we're going to do a Romanian deadlift. So again, you can hold on for balance if you need to, or do it freestanding if you're very balanced. I want your heel to start in front of your toe on your supporting leg. What that means, it puts my hip into neutral, okay? If I'm here, when I finish the rep, sometimes I'm not quite neutral. So I want heel in front of toe every rep. I want you to hinge back, keeping a long leg, pushing that heel away from our backside as we fold over, keeping a nice flat back, and then come up and straight, okay? So what we're doing is we're stretching the hamstring, but we're mobilizing that hip and hamstring complex. Okay, so onto the warm-up stuff. So the first one we're going to do is a lunge with an overhead reach. So feet together to begin with, step forward into a lunge, and as we do that, both arms come up overhead into an overhead reach. So what we're doing is we're lengthening the fascia on that anterior chain, getting a nice stretch all the way through our body. The next one we're going to do is a hamstring march. So I want you to lay down on your backs. Now I want your knees to be around 90 degrees flexion at the knee joint, okay? This would be under 90 degrees. We don't want you to be that bent. We want your legs to be at least 90 degrees. And if you're really strong, you can go almost straight legged with these, okay? From here, we're going to bridge up into extension. And from this extended position, we're going to get dynamic stability on this hip hamstring complex every time we take a step up and march up toward our legs, up towards our chest, So nice extension of the hip here, and then we flex the hip into that sprinting stride for the given rep range on each leg. Okay, the last one is a Serrano press. Now what I've done is I've put it on a 45-degree bench in the program, but I don't have a bench here to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from a standing position with a flexed hip. So my body is now on this 45-degree angle. My hands are up like I don't want to be shot, so I'm in this externally rotated position for my shoulders. And then here, I'm going to perform an overhead press while still trying to maintain that external rotation at my shoulders, which is quite hard, especially if you spend a long time in front of the computer. You might have that more protracted shoulder position. This is to help you get those muscles on the back of our body fired up So we can say nice and retracted. Okay, so within the program, you might understand most of the things that I've written there. There's a couple of nuances I'll just talk through. So a neutral position for your feet, which you may not understand. Neutral position is just with them square like this. If I were to put inverted, your feet would be like this, and everted, your ankles would be like this, okay? So neutral foot position when we're doing that lying leg curl, laying down on our front. What I'm looking for you to do is I'm looking for you to keep your feet in this dorsiflex position, okay? This would be a plantar flex position when we're pointing our toe away. I want you to be in a dorsiflex position, laying on your stomach, feet neutral, curling both heels up to your backside, taking the load up and lowering it down slowly. The next thing that we're going to do is a staggered stance Romanian deadlift. So a Romanian deadlift, you can find all these demonstrations on YouTube, but a Romanian deadlift is a hip hinge position. So we're loading up that posterior chain, the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back. We would have dumbbells or a barbell in front of us, okay? What I quite like to do with these Romanian deadlifts, especially beginning part of programming for people, I get them to do it in a staggered stance position. So one foot in front of the other. The majority of the load now in on that front leg. The back leg is there like a kickstand, just stabilizing me, okay? So dumbbells in each hand or barbell with a staggered stance. The last one here on this program is a braced press, okay? Now the reason I put a braced press in there is because I don't want you to contort your body to help be able to move the weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from a half kneeling position because my position where I'm bracing from is too low for me. But if you've got a barbell up nice and high in a rack, you can brace on there and press. So I'm going to show you from a kneeling position, bracing in nice and tight against the bar. I'm going to have a dumbbell in this hand and I'm going to push up nice and tall. Now I've got what's called here as a contralaterally loaded position. So I'm on my right knee pressing with my left hand side. But if you want to increase the stretch, we can press on the same side. So I lengthen this factor to my fingertip. So I'll get a little bit tighter when I'm pressing. Okay. So guys, those are some of the nuances in program 1. I will go through in a second video all the nuances on program 2, but by all means contact us via Instagram if you have any questions, or check out exercises on YouTube, very easy to find.